welcome back to my lovely IHP community and 5D collective. It's a late IHP show with your very own 5D mystic on our lovely new moon evening here, wherever you're at, maybe not yet, but that new moon and the solar eclipse. So that being said, you have a 5D mystic, that lovely faith, unbreakable Christ consciousness, and that lovely sciences and spirituality coming together. So we know the difference between those who are facades and those who are the collective that believes with an open heart, has that lovely oversoul, all united and universal love. So we do with our own oversoul, and we do with our lovely earth and beyond. So speaking your truth with that lovely open, expanded heart, divine feminines and divine masculines have accessed more of their lovely cosmic heart. And so they are grateful for all of those balancing experiences that help them to recover their true self, to get out of the confusion, out of any of that rejection business, sense of guilt or shame, and that gossip stuff. Okay, so the gossip stuff would be like, inner critic, outer critic, or people around you. When you have healthy boundaries, the unhealthy boundary people will self-select out of your life because they will not want to engage, since firm boundaries is a nice conversation between people. It's, I thank you so much. Understand that we're friends, we've known each other for a while, or even if you haven't, but we're mismatching. The more of the 5D frequency, integration of the brain, Christ consciousness, forgiveness, again, unconditional love, we're all brothers and sisters, the more you're going to enjoy yourself in this lovely day and in general, and you're going to grow functional adult / inner child adult relationships. The facades, well, they have something different, but we don't need to be concerned with the facades. Our concern is when we are encountering them, we're going to know them because they're going to be those unforgiving perfectionists who have not the way of chit-chatting about differences, but they have superheroes and supervillains and saving, and so that is for the 4D and 3D collective and those who are vibing at a modulated embodiment self or dysregulated embodiment self with shame, blame, fault, revenge. The survival mode is really not fun, but again, the people that I've met throughout my years in my courses, the ones who care about humanity with unconditional love the way I do and the way the 5D collective does, we're already doing what we can in circumstances to allow marrying in the evening. I'm trying to play with words right now. So when you have nice evenings with people that laugh together and that are gorgeously handsome, men, women days, with that lovely integration of the brain, you're going to have an invasion of the reflection of trust. So you're going to have a fun time. Okay, so nobody is the lion and the deer. Technically, we can be both, but we won't be both in a way of being vulnerable because we're people who are moved beyond that threshold of fear. So the people who have the capacity to be mindfully and spiritually aware have healthy boundaries. It's always a conversation, and you get to speak your truth, again, with an open heart. And people who have healthy boundaries, they will stick around because those circumstances illuminate that damage beneath the feet with waves of life. So light and life and love, by the way, we get to have not something hard with emotions and misunderstandings, but instead we have play. So we get to keep communicating as we're all imperfect inner children with emotional depth, but we know how to talk about those emotions together and dance that lovely dance of life. And so it's a tango between two. So when you are a healthy self-worth person, you're going to have a healthy partner or partners, and they're self-empowered. They know all about love. So that's what you can expect as we move forward, because love is that the truth. And the truth is what? Navigating equanimity. So people who don't know how to do impartiality, and they say, how dare you be impartial? Yeah, you say, well, I have an integrated brain. No, you don't say anything, you leave it alone. You just say, well, we are all different. So you have opinions that you are really going to be like that 3-year-old. I have them with my mastery the inner and outer mastery. So inner growth mindset and just you, physical, mentally, emotionally intelligent you, with a community that knows how to meditate while engaging, because we're mindfully aware and mindfully listening, and we're actively open-hearted. So we've transcended that illusion, the mind, divine masculine. We've transcended the illusion of the facade and facades. I've transcended a long time ago. I didn't ever have any unhealthy habits. I have moderation because my mother basically made me very well aware, but also my body can't handle anything that's not moderate. So the divine masculines, they have, and the mind, the ego, has been able to finally come into union with the insula. And so you're able to harness an open heart and an open gut, and that's where your divine feminine, so that wholeness and the cosmic, lovely rose of Ma. So for me, I consistently have my expanding relationship with Akash. And as a divine feminine, I get to bring forth more of this grace and generosity, the rest and rejuvenate and renewal. That's our social engagement system. And so when you have these types of relationships, again, they are full of love and they're full of passion. And that's why for the circumstances of those who have twin flame or twin flames and soulmates is not tragedy. It is the capacity to love more than you did yesterday, the capacity to learn wisdom and knowledge about yourself and other. And here's where I have a quote from Ecclesiastes 7:12. Wisdom is a shelter as money is a shelter. But the advantage of knowledge is this, that wisdom preserves the life of its possessor. And that is really beautiful for the Akashic record reader that I am, and being able to have seen past lives, present lives, future lives. This means something to me as a mystic. So if you're a person who has seen your past lives the same way I have, and the future of you, you'll know what it means for us. So it transcends that which is explainable, of course, by sciences, but we're not trying to explain it. The sciences, in the meantime, they look into the hard problem of consciousness, and they come together with us, those of the spirituality plane. So mystics and sciences and spirituality and just anyone in this era, we know it's not supernatural to have the flow state. It's actually something that's part of your human makeup. And here's where when you see something beautiful in someone, you can tell them, and I always see something beautiful in all of those beautiful people that I meet, even when they're facades. They're still beautiful because I will, as a divine feminine, be able to get in touch with that heart. Now, they might not like that, which is why I'll be careful, and if they begin to be upset at me, I'll say, okay, I think you're upset at me. I'm going to go now. Nice, thank you so much, okay? But if I try to talk to them, that's where we'll see what happens, right? So people who want to build a heart-to-heart relationship, they will continue to be healthy together and happy and merry. And it may take a second to say, but for them it could last a lifetime. So when you see something beautiful in someone, you tell them totally. Like when there's quotes like this one. I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. And that is true, because how we will feel around each other will be something that stands out, which is also why it's only when a person is welcoming their self back home that they will be engaging with the divine feminine who unconsciously loves the enlightenment 5D mystic here in a way of enjoying it. If on the other hand, those fragments, they're not ready to welcome them back home, they might be bothered, but it's okay. Again, it's not personal, because the divine feminine does know how to understand moodiness, you know. So moodiness is, I can get moody. And the lovely Stephen Porges shares with us what people who are moody are. They're in their yellow or red, and that's the biological rudeness, so they won't know what they're doing. Their first 3 years of life matter, the first 8, and that's all the karma. So facades, again, they're going to continue doing their karma, not good or bad. We just are going to meet the same we've met in the past. So remember, you're not having relationships with energy vampires, dark auras, or any of that. Your oversoul, twin flames, soulmates, they're all part of your own relationships. Treat them like people. They're people. We were never at risk of these 5D high frequency ley lines not being able to be anchored in. I hear 4D with their pseudo-alive magical stories. I'm bringing you the human element. Everyone keep in mind, it adds to the story, doesn't take away. Doesn't take ever away, because it's all people's different voices for different people who want those stories. But I can tell you, I started noticing 4D just talking shit about the oversoul in a way that was completely distorted ego, shame, blame, fault, revenge, and getting on screen as the angry squirrels and looking more and more in structural dissociation. One of their parts is coming up for those who have disorganized attachment. I've seen pseudo-alive and dissociation in my classes between teachers and students, and I know that it is a journey that is ongoing to heal, but I also saw the same individuals disregard their behaviors as needing attention seriously before continuing to engage in making it look like they knew everything of what they were doing. You don't know anything of what you're doing if you are in the moment unaware that you are dissociating in a way that, you're teaching. Okay, so when you're aware of these subject matters, you're thinking, or I was, why are you not aware of this? If you have the material, where's the owning of the self? Why are you not observing, witnessing, and narrating to, wait, what am I? So this is where mindfulness and spirituality or spiritually living come in. When you're aware of yourself, you mindfully hear yourself, and you're like, okay, and you're mindfully aware of your body. So it's not a competition. This is the part of where you learn self-awareness, accountability, and regulation, because you want that. And here's what the self-empowered people, we love to know this. Maya Angelou, I do not trust people who don't love themselves and tell me I love you. There is an African saying which is, be careful when a naked person offers you a shirt. In my case, personally, I will trust the person, but I will know now with all my attachment trauma information that yes, if a person doesn't love their self first and they don't know that healthy boundaries are us having a very joyful conversation, they're not a person that knows what relationships are, because they didn't learn how to use their funny bone, that funny bone. So inner child adult always wants a hug when they're having any kind of misunderstanding, because it's not hard to do emotions. And when we don't get a hug, well, we'll know how to hug ourselves, and we'll also know that it's okay, because some people, they're not grateful for all of the people in their life. They want the people that are going to be that perfection of what they had at home, which is unfortunate business, by the way, because what they had at home is most likely not going to be the self-regulating, speaking one's truth, open-hearted, and generous. It's going to be something, let me shame you because you deserve to be shamed. Let me treat you in a way that, so again, if you look at yourself, you'll notice, am I allowing myself to be treated emotionally, mentally, and physically healthy? Great. Not, okay, I'm going to go look into my attachment category responsibly. I'm going to go and make sure that I can understand what my emotional triggers are, what my emotions are telling me. I'm going to go learn about myself so that I can bring my true self to the forefront, to a person and to people. This means I want to be able to be grace and generous, ventral vagal. So knowing and learning how to have compassion towards yourself and others. So again, it's something in the year 2024, having alignment. It's not the mystics that needed to be concerned with our ley lines being able to be stuck in. The 4D has a story because they want to be superheroes. No, they think that they are, which is where their illusion and the distorted ego is giving them a thumbs up, and they are basically saying, I own, I get to finally know sense of safety. I have owned my seat at the table. This is the sad thing. So they've been captured. And once again, if you will, for Again, as a 5D mystic, it's a recurring theme where we accept defeat, that is, that people choose their unfaced fear, capture, and captive, but they will not say that they've been captured. They will say, I know the truth and you don't. How dare you talk about the person who's leading me? So we have Peter Pans and lost boys, lost girls out there, but not the 5D collective. So again, remember, healthy boundaries. It's all about love and chit chat and having fun. When you meet the ones who are not resonating in a way of having a good time, you know how to be patient and to thank them for that time, because they did give you something. They gave you the opportunity to be the person that you want to be. And that is where you got to completely fulfill your own destiny by choosing to be love, to be a person who's mindfully and spiritually living. And for those of us who care, it's all about continuing to tap into more of the infinite higher human conscious potential experience and more beautiful relationships. So we'll be back with more. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoy this lovely new moon and the solar eclipse. Have a great one.